It's time.
From his Obama-proof fortification
high above Oklahoma's big league city.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing.
Dispensing daily dispatches to the conservative resistance.
We shall fight in the field and in the street. We shall never surrender.
The air czar of Oklahoma radio.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
Shannon. Unleashed.
All right, here we go. Our number 2 coming up on the Shannon Show. I thought I'd found Darth Vader, but it turned out to be Lieutenant Gil Hensley. We were talking about, for some reason, I don't know, an Oklahoma version of Darth Vader, and we came up with Garth Vader, and we tried to picture what he'd look like, and it'd be like have a big cowboy hat, and you came up with your big cowboy hat. But we pictured him in black, and you got a white hat because you're a good guy. Gil, what's your job with the FOP?
I'm president of Fraternal Order Police Lodge 123.
Okay, so is that the only FOP in
Oklahoma City?
In Oklahoma
yes,
City,
yes.
okay. And it represents police in just Oklahoma City?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to do is ask you what you think about what the mayor said, not only this morning on the show, but he also said it last night on television. He said, you guys are just union guys who are mad because you're not getting a pay raise this year.
Well, Mark, I didn't hear the comments this morning. I did hear his interview with KOCO TV last night, where he said that the Oklahoma City employee groups have spoken out against MAPS because they're mad and they're not getting a raise. That's absolutely an untruthful statement. But worse yet, the mayor knew, or at least should have known, when he made that statement that it was untrue. The truth is, neither the FOP nor AFSCME have asked for a raise. And while an independent arbitrator has granted fire a raise, it's my understanding they've offered to give that back if the city will address their staffing issues. So what does that tell us? Either one, the mayor is so out of touch with city government that he doesn't know what the employee group offers have been for the contract, or two, he intentionally made an untrue, misleading statement to the public. Now, I'm not sure which is worse, but I do know that neither speaks very well for him. No matter the reason for him having made those false statements, he can be expected to make nothing other than that in the future. How do we trust what comes out of his mouth now?
Good point. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with Lieutenant Gil Hensley with the Oklahoma City FOP Lodge. Right back. Hold on.
Traffic and weather together on the 10s on News Radio 1000 KTOK.
News Radio 1000 KTOK. Shannon with Lieutenant Gil Hensley, who we were talking to. Mike, can you run, get Cut 9 ready, Cut 9A, the one we ran earlier, and run this. This is from last night, a report on KOCO Channel 5. This is the mayor when he was asked a question.
Public safety is our number one priority at City Hall, and we certainly wouldn't be doing anything, MAPS or otherwise, that's going to jeopardize the safety of our citizens. What you're seeing is unions that care about getting raises for their employees. They didn't get a raise this year, and they're upset about it.
That's what I call playing the union card. And there's an appropriate time and an inappropriate time. Now, so you guys are you're not going to get a raise. The new sales tax came back, I guess it's the October check or the September check. Anyway, whichever one we get from the state, it's down 14% over estimates and down 11% year to date. So that's not a very rosy scenario there. Let me ask you this. In light of what the mayor said, what is your problem with MAPS? If it's not because you're just a bunch of unhappy union guys that aren't getting a pay raise, what is your problem with MAPS?
Well, Mark, we've said this over and over again. Unfortunately, we're having difficulty with enough journalists with integrity to put the real message out. And the issue is the city doesn't have enough employees to do the things it should be doing now. And MAPS 3 will increase the number of employees needed. It's that simple.
Yeah, and by the way, in regards to your comment about journalists, folks, the publisher of the Oklahoman apparently has seen fit not to even record your vote and report your vote the other night that I saw. It wasn't in the paper. The firefighters issue wasn't in the paper. And none of this is making the paper. Well, David Thompson, the publisher of the Oklahoman, also happens to be, guess what? The chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, which also employs Ackerman McQueen as their PR firm, which employs Mick Cornett. And speaking of pay raises, Gil, I could probably find out what kind of pay raises you guys get because it's probably public record. And yet our mayor just got himself a nice fat 6-figure job this year with Ackerman McQueen, and he won't tell us how much he's making. So I can certainly understand why he doesn't really care that much about how much you guys make, apparently. So what kind of staffing problems are we seeing right now?
Well,
I mean, just before MAPS, before anything else, what are your problems?
okay, Mark, the city has not increased not just the police department, all
Right.
city departments, has not increased manpower since the 1989 sales tax.
That was the one that was specifically
The dedicated sales tax for public safety. According to U.S. Census Bureau numbers, the population in Oklahoma City over that same 20-year period increased about 100,000 people.
Okay.
So that's about a 20% increase in the population of this city.
And we have not really increased the police force.
Not the police, not any public employees.
Okay.
And that's the problem when we want the public to understand that. And we're going to continue to try and put the true messages out and the true facts. This isn't just about police. This isn't just about fire. This is about all city employees, your park workers, everyone else. Everyone is stretched to the limit, and this new MAPS proposal doesn't provide for any additional personnel, and it's going to further tax the abilities of those city employees to do their job. And the unfortunate thing is, Mark, when you call for the police and it takes that poor officer 30 minutes or 45 minutes to respond to you because you've got
Right.
3 calls that are higher priority you have to make prior to that,
Right.
who do you think gets yelled at? Do you think the mayor or the city council gets yelled, or
No.
even the chief of police?
No.
That poor officer that's out there trying his best to do the job, he takes the brunt of that frustration, and we understand that frustration on the part of the public.
Now, we've been told that response time for, and I don't know what you call it, priority one, like a murder type call or something, is like 10 minutes now. That seems rather high. Is that because we don't have enough police in enough areas of town?
Yes, it is. Chief City presented to the council in February a study done by a company named Berkshire that the city commissioned the study. They paid for it with taxpayer dollars. Chief City presented that study to the council. It said we're roughly 200 officers below where we should be. Chief City told them we need additional officers so we can do, number one, do some proactive patrol
Right.
and try and stop crime before it happens. But number two, we can't respond to priority calls for service in a timely manner, and we need these additional people to do it. Now, for whatever reason, the mayor chose to leave that meeting early and not hear the full presentation. I can't answer why that occurred, but I can say that these manpower concerns have been addressed, readdressed, and readdressed by the employee groups for some time, and they continue to fall on deaf ears. And now our huge concern is we're going to spend taxpayer dollars to do these other things, which we're not opposed to. We want growth in this city.
Sure.
But let's be realistic. What do we really need to do with the taxpayers' money? How do we more efficiently use their money?
Well, do you have a suggestion then on the MAPS tax runs out in December unless we extend it, okay, which the chamber is pushing for. What would you suggest that they do instead of MAPS right now? Would you like to see another quarter penny, or what is it? Was a quarter and a quarter cent?
It was
or something?
3/4 of
Three
cents
quarters
in
of a
89,
cent. Would you
yes.
like to see more that way, or would you rather have the city come up with a different way to fund it, or are we just stuck right now because of the economy?
Well, I think this is a poor time
Right.
to present a full penny, an additional full penny sales tax to the public for things that don't address their real needs.
Right.
But if we're going to address the real needs, and we certainly need to, then it's going to have to be a permanent sales tax, or one at least that we call permanent, not some that's been temporary for 16 or 17 years. We're going to have to address a full sales tax to go to the general fund, or probably more appropriately to